No,
that would be very out of left field, so don't get baited. It would be interesting to see Lucian. So Lucian coming through feels like Lucian Nami, and both of them got nerfs for this patch.
Yeah, Lucian took some nerfs specifically to his
Early game
mana and mana regeneration. The values start off worse early on. His flat mana levels off around 9, I believe it'll be better than it previously was, and his mana regeneration levels off around 11 compared to where it previously was. So past laning phase, it'll be as good or better, but those early laning moments where he's going to be spamming those spells and trading aggressively, going to be harder to sustain.
Yep, that is big, but also the W and the E for Nami both got nerfed, damage taken off top of both of those. So it is going to be less oppressive. Does not mean it's not strong or can't work, but both of them did get hits here. So will be interesting. Zeri getting locked in. I wonder if we're just going to get Zeri Lulu.
Could be.
I don't think it's going to be Yuumi, as we talked about last game.
I would highly
massive nerfs on Yuumi. Don't think we're really ever going to see that again until they rework it or do something different.
As League of Legends was intended to be when Mark Merrill first dreamed it up 50 years ago.
Wait, wasn't it invented by Freak?
Mark Merrill and Freak dreamed it up back during the during World War II.
Yeah, back in the 50s.
But we do have the Zeri and the Lulu locked in together, along with that Ksante there for the top lane. It'll be Lucian, Nami in the bottom lane, as you were talking about. Never one without the other. Lucian and Nami are a better kindred than Kindred is. But then you've also got Wukong locked in. So jungler versus top, that means the lock-ins are not exactly synced up, so the bans probably won't be either. As you can see, FlyQuest targeting the jungle pool, getting rid of the Vi.
Yeah, taking down the Vi really does make a lot of sense here. You know, it is one of those kind of mobile marksmen you want to lock down, want to burst down. So taking that away there from River. River also, was really known for being so successful on those aggressive early champions. Jarvan was his big thing last year when he was playing on Dig. Didn't have nearly as much success with Golden Guardians, but kind of got to give him a little bit of a fresh start here on Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
They've improved the roster. They've changed things up, and now this is the first week that they're getting to play with Gory. I think Gory actually just arrived in America within the last, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 days. I feel like I got a message saying that he had just arrived and came straight from the airport, went to scrims. So they haven't gotten to practice with
Fast
them, right?
turnaround.
Exactly. So we got to give Golden Guardians some time before we really kind of harshly judge them, I think. It is going to be a Sylas ban, though, from FlyQuest, which is a little bit of a double ban. Some people are playing Sylas jungle these days. It also is played mid.
Gnar banned out, going back to what you were talking about, sort of expecting that to be one of the likely counter picks that Impact would take into the Ksante, but now he's going to have to do something different. Gwen is a champion that I often hear mentioned as one of the best matchups, if not the best matchup, into Ksante, but we'll see if that's something that Impact would want to play into it. Impact also a known tank player of many different shapes and sizes, but no, it will be the Gwen locked in for the 1v1.
Yep, absolutely. And that's something that, we do see Impact be really careful on. Obviously, the newest pickup here for FlyQuest. She's in the studio. She's ranting about something. Who knows what?
Well, hopefully she's down with the Gwen counter pick, because gonna have some faith in that. Well, nope, we're not gonna get the Jarvan just yet. I would love to see River on Jarvan.
Yeah,
I'm always a fan of River's Jarvan, but we'll get the Azir for Gory in the mid lane. FlyQuest will have final pick of the draft to choose what they want into this. Remember, it was Golden Guardians banning out the Kassadin in second phase because they specifically didn't want that picked into their control mage here in mid lane. All right, what's our jungler going to be? Poppy, the jungler. You can stop Wukong, stop Gwen, stop Lucian dashes. That's a really nice value for the steadfast presence.
Yeah, that is really, really good value. I mean, I don't think there's any pick that makes you think FlyQuest can win 5v5 later, as far as just what has already been drafted here. Yeah. They can get some scaling. It does look like they're considering the Victor. Victor going to get locked in, so is powerful mid laner here. We do have really heavily scaling mid laners on both sides, but Zeri, Lulu, tank jungler, tank top laner, like this is the quintessential go late and team fight style comp that you could ever draft from Golden Guardians. So if they can get there, I think they've got a real shot. The worry, of course, is Spica's been having some really strong early games, albeit it was just 2 games of Maokai. We haven't gotten to see him off of that. And Prince has just been looking insane. So if Prince gets unlocked, if he gets ahead, this is one of those guys that really can push champions to their absolute limit. And he's one of those guys who's going to get a lead. He's not going to sit back and do nothing with it. He will be in the mix. He will be going for those highlight plays.
And I love the conversation that we started having in Worlds really broadly last year about Lucian not really being the early game champion that most people squad to put the hyper in the scale.
It's going to be a really exciting one. And you already talked about the mechanics and the inputs on that Lucian. Lucian that can be difficult. One of the biggest things for me, and when I play champions like Lucian and some of these short-range ADs, and you get to those late game fights, is just to do damage, you have to be so close to the other champions, which means you have to be so incredible at actually, reading the team fights, understanding when you are threatened, when you are not threatened, being able to dodge all the skill shots that are shot at you. Because if you are just waiting for everything to be safe, you don't do anything.
You're never going
You do culling and then you strafe, right? Like you don't do anything. So, that's what you really got to avoid. And that's one of the reasons I think this champion is so hard to pilot. Not even just the mechanics for the actual combos that you're looking for, but being able to have the confidence and the skill to be in the middle of that fight, maximizing damage while not getting caught out.
And that's why I love a lot of the builds we've been seeing with Lucian, with Gale Force into Rapid Fire Cannon. Those items that essentially just give you more uptime and more possibilities. Gale Force with its active, Rapid Fire Cannon allowing him to have that extended auto so he can take a slightly less risky opportunity to get some of that damage out. But I am excited to watch Prince pilot this game. Remember, with Stixxay and Huhi on Zeri and Lulu, they will be playing for the scaling. Absolutely. Heal on the Lulu, exhaust on the Zeri. So ready to try to defend themselves against this Gwen, this Wukong later on, as well as the potential Lucian Nami all ins nice and early. Spica off to a better jungle start than we saw the Wukong in the previous game. Not going to get counter jungled at level 1 here.
Yep, not a hard mark to pass, I will say. As that was a pretty rough start for Contract in the last one. No fault of his own. Just great invade from Licorice. Or excuse me, from Fudge. Winsome really low there. You gotta respect that early power from the Lulu. But something else I want to touch on is Lucian. We talked a lot about 2-item IE, but I have been seeing some Lucians rush for 2-item Nivori quick plates, which can be really, really nice. So that is another option. He's one of those champions that can do it pretty well, but of course, you are going to be lower on the burst than if you go IE, but it gives you some really nice power.
It gives you some really nice power, and it's the flashiest way to play because of the way that Nivori lowers the cooldowns when you land the auto attacks. The spell weaving when it's min-max looks absolutely insane. It's just dash, shoot, piercing light, shoot, dash, shoot, piercing light, shoot. Fire W if you want to, I guess. But like, there's just so much coming out of this champion.
Oh, River spotted. Nice word there.
What do we got, buddy?
We got nothing.
Vicla's still just chilling.
Yep.
Hanging out.
It's just a really good ward, and he should know that the ward is there now because he just kind of stepped it back. That ward just expiring. He would have seen it actually die, so River should be aware that he was spotted if he was really paying attention. If you're watching the lanes and you don't actually see the ward debris pop up, then may not know. Impact on this top side, trading back and forth here. Ksante obviously got the push very early on, but it is bouncing, and now Impact has to try to get that wave in so he can find a reset for himself. As we all know, Gwen, really looking to try to scale towards that one item. When you actually do get the Riftmaker completed, you're just a different champion, right? You're completely on a different level.
1v1 junglers here in the bottom side, River, as Spica walks away from it. Gory's got 300 HP. Vicla only doing slightly better himself. Neither mid laner with a lot of mana to work with, so the junglers recognize that neither one of their guys can unload the full value of their kit.
He can get flash on. Okay.
All right. Patience from Vicla.
Yeah. Yeah, Vicla playing that pretty risky. I mean, he walked onto the soldier to get a laser out, but that allowed him to get very, very low there. I don't know. I mean, River, I think if River flashes, 100% you get Vicla's flash. Maybe he's not willing to actually make that trade, but I think if he flashes on him, like after he hits him with a buckler, if you flash Q him or flash charge him in the wall, he's 100% dead, right? So when you plus flash, Vicla presses flash, and I think that's a good trade to make.
Okay.
But on Poppy, it is a playmaker, so maybe he's saying, I'm going to be able to get a guaranteed flash wall slam later and get a kill. We'll have to track that, though.
Yeah, that's the thing that I look at, or at least that I think of when I see that moment. But now topside, it's Ghost versus Ghost. Licorice without enough mana to keep chasing after the Q3 misses means Impact is able to stay alive from this one. River still just prowling around. You can see one Scuttle Crab taken by each team in terms of top side. River going over to River himself. Spica grabbing the one in the bottom side. In terms of farm, honestly, everything's still pretty close here, nice and early. A couple small advantages one way or the other, but nobody's running away with anything just yet.
The wave is really good, though, for Golden Guardians. They were able to get that earlier base. They do kind of pull this wave, so we'll see if they want to try to crash it or if they're going to pull it back towards themselves. It's always funny, though, when you look at Licorice, you're like, oh, this guy's right? And then you realize his Q costs 15 mana. He still had 5 more Qs left. Well, 4 now, right?
Yeah.
So he still, even at that really, really low mana, can do a pretty good job in those little trades. It is, of course, when you get to the more aggressive trades, when you need the W, when you need the E, those cost a lot more mana. The W, 75 mana, is a lot more costly, so definitely have to be careful about that. And Golden Guardians looking like they just want to push it in, so wouldn't be surprised if they just go for another reset here.
Yeah.
And just take another quick base. They're going to be happy to just scale it up. It is a better buy for Prince, as he did base later, but you know, if Prince can't get any value out of the Ignite in the lane, Ignite is just straight up way worse than Exhaust later on.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I think that Stixxay and Huhi are smart to just try to play to farm, and if you can make this lane all about just pushing the waves back and forth, bouncing it and basing over and over and over, and never interacting with the Nami Lucian, you're winning that lane by a lot.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because you are the Zeri Lulu. Later on in the game, you're feeling fantastic. Huhi's making a rotation towards mid now. Remember, Vicla still has his flash, but now he's going to be shuffled back. And with Huhi ready to go here, I don't know if there's any way out for Vicla. A little bit more damage is all they need, and it's first blood over to Lulu.
Nicely done. I'm not sure if Gory could have got it or not, but Huhi commits the flash, commits the heal. Nice roam. I just think they weren't expecting it because it's a Lulu, right? It's kind of one of those funny things where the fact that River was showing, this ward showed River clearing Raptors. So Vicla's not worried at it at all, right? It's like, it's a Lulu bot lane, who cares? I see where the jungler is. I'm not gonna get ganked here, so a little bit of an unexpected play there. Huhi moves up on the Lulu, is able to find the kill. They get the flash off of Vicla as well, and Gory still has his flash, so that should be a free kill. As soon as Gory has ulti, you should call someone towards mid and look for that flash ulti, look for the kill, but they're gonna go bot.
Oh, nicely done. Prince trying to get himself away there, but River wants to make the move. They won't be able to get enough damage to kill him just yet. Now Huhi's in danger. Remember, he already used his flash earlier. He's only got 100 HP. Spica seeing if there's anything to find after the play. Prince and Winsome gonna go ahead and get this wave all shoved up. So Golden Guardians wanted to make it happen there, but FlyQuest able to outplay by committing 3 summoners.
Yeah, they are able to survive, but that is, we can check in on it, right? We talked about the fact that River maybe could have flashed on Vicla earlier. Didn't end up mattering. You know, they were able to kill off Vicla even with his flash. Then he uses the flash bot side and gets both summoners off of Prince plus the heal off Winsome. So ended up being pretty good that he still actually had that available. It is a bit of a farm advantage that has been opened up here for Prince, but of course, Stixxay will pick up most, if not all, of those minions under tower. And just a quick trip back for that pickaxe, but again, it's mid lane I'm looking at. Gory is going to have his ultimate back again here in about 20 seconds. As soon as the ultimate's up, you should be calling people mid, shuffle in, flash, ult in that Victor, and it should be pretty much a guaranteed kill here. So FlyQuest are going to have to play around that, and we're going to have to see people from FlyQuest hovering. As soon as the ulti is up on Azir, if Azir is on screen, almost someone has to be behind him, and that's why Winsome is running straight out mid. That is why Spica is on the Raptors right now. They're trying to cover for what could be a potential aggressive play here, because if Vicla dies again, it could start getting pretty rough.
Exactly, with both of these guys being these hyper-scaling mid laners, if one of them all of a sudden has an early mythic item, he feels a lot more relevant a lot sooner than poor Victor, who's just sitting here trying to kill minions with his little bop-bop auto attack over and over again. So we've got to see FlyQuest continue to be able to respond to Golden Guardians, who have been the aggressors in both of the plays so far. Total gold, it's still Prince leading the charge, but ever so barely, only a couple minions ahead of Gory there, who's only a few ahead of Impact himself. Prince on this Lucian, still working towards that Gale Force first item. Huhi doing a lot of roaming around here. Winsome's Nami trying to contest him maybe, but with River over the wall ready to come down here with the Blast Cone, it's Golden Guardians with the confidence to take out that ward in the River.
Yeah, and I like that FlyQuest is paying with respect, but River could actually Hex Flash over this. We'll see if he wants to go for it. They're going to potentially go in. Spica's coming as well, though.
Spica's ready to try to collapse on this, but he doesn't know River's waiting in the brush. River's just going to immediately go right back onto the Wukong. Steadfast Presence makes it hard for Spica to be able to get away. He's at 40% HP. He's going to get taken even lower. Has to flash the wall to escape from River.
Great job by River, and Stixxay just getting aggressive there. Shuffles over the wall, tags Spica with that laser, gets him low, gets the slow on him. You know, is going to force out that flash. So nicely done here by Golden Guardians, fighting on that bottom side. They're the ones with, I think, a pretty big scaling advantage, at least in the 5v5, and they're the ones with a slight early gold lead.
And neither support had level 6 during that fight. You can see Winsome got it just now. So as Golden Guardians were fighting in the river, they knew that Winsome couldn't back them up with a long-range Nami wave or anything like that. So they took their opportunity and they went in. I'm liking the aggressive, like, fearless play that we're seeing out of Golden Guardians earlier.
Absolutely, and this is kind of more reminiscent, I think, of last year. Golden Guardians was a team that actually had a strong early game. They struggled more in the mid game, more in the late game to close out on the advantages they were able to secure. So we'll see how clean they can be in this one and if they can maintain the position they are in. They're going up for this Herald swap, but it is going to be one plate going down for Prince and Winsome on the bottom side. Prince had already collected a previous plate, so if it's just the one for that Herald on top side, well worth it here for Golden Guardians. They're going to be able to drop this Herald wherever they want. You know, get some gold here, potentially for Azir or something like that. Got to give some credit to Vicla, though, who has played safe for these last couple minutes. His flash is almost back up, and they haven't been able to make any sort of a return play that I really wanted to see Golden Guardians do.
There you go. He'll clear out the last of that wave. Gory constantly has him shoved in, but Vicla, not only has he been able to survive, he's keeping the farm dead even with his opponent as well, so it's not like Gory's getting a lot of passive advantages with this pressure that you've already been talking about that exists on the Victor, not having that flash. Spica and Winsome still hovering behind him here, making sure that he's safe as he pushes this wave out, finally bounces that into the turret of Gory. The Drake is still alive. We have not seen a single Drake take so far in this game, just about to hit 11 minutes on the clock. FlyQuest will take control of the bottom side river for now with control wards in the mid lane brush, in the pixel brush. Golden Guardians are not going to let him have it for free. Looks like we're going to get a contest here. Stixxay jumps over the wall. Spica has no flash, remember. Gory and Vicla going head-to-head as the Nami wave fires out. Gory's at about 20% HP. Got to be careful about that as Stixxay is jumped on by Prince. Calling comes through, but River's going to body block most of it. FlyQuest have forced their opponents back. They've won out in the health bar trade, and that means they get control over the river.
Yep, absolutely. They have sustained with that Nami, and it's a red buff on Spica, so even though he got chunked out, he is regenerating up quite a bit of health here. And the heal is still even available for Winsome, so now they're going to push in through bot. It's Impact who's in trouble. It's Licorice is going on with the ult.
Licorice is ready to go all out. Impact, he doesn't have any ulti charges left. Licorice has Q3, goes in. Not gonna get it there. Gwen is immune, using the power of the Hallowed Mist to escape what was likely a kill shot. So both top laners barely walking away from that one.
Yeah, that was critical. Impact creating enough space there to utilize that Shroud to immune the Q3 flip. Had to do that or he was pretty much certain to go down, and that's what can be risky when you're going up against Ksante. River's gonna try to get an ejection and a steal. He does eject Spica, but can he actually get in and finish it? Let's see.
They got Huhi showing up, but Vicla's rotating down. It's FlyQuest with more men on the scene, and that means it's very difficult.
Yeah, and they're going to be on the Dragon here. Spica looking to finish it off, and FlyQuest is able to actually get that kill on it. Victor now, though, going to have the Herald here crashing in towards mid, so the gold is going to be donated over to Gory. Not sure if he lost us for a second there or not.
Does my microphone work now?
It sounds like
Can you hear me? Okay.
I kept talking. I don't know if anyone could hear me or not.
All right, RIP. It's all good. We're back. We're back in the game. We're ready to go. So, we've got the Drake going over to FlyQuest. They're able to grab that for themselves, feeling pretty good about it. The Rift Herald, remember, where is our Rift Herald? I'm sorry, I got so disconnected. I completely
Rift
lost my
Herald
train of thought.
got dropped mid. They got a little bit of gold there for Gory. And the Dragon was secured by FlyQuest. So no kills really grabbed there, but the game evening out quite a bit in gold, and it's the objective in for Fly, but again, Golden Guardians, I think, feeling good about their scaling.
So what do we want to see specifically from Golden Guardians at this point? There's 1 minute left on plates. Obviously, everyone predicting FlyQuest to be the much stronger team in this head-to-head. So what's the play for Golden Guardians?
Chill, farm, do nothing. I think that your best chance is actually just winning in 5v5s once you have a couple items under your belt. I don't think there's really much pressure on them whatsoever. You need to make sure that you're marking Spica, that you're trying to get vision, you're making sure that you're shutting down the aggressive looks from FlyQuest. Yeah, sure, FlyQuest grabbed the first dragon, but they grabbed it so late into the game that Soul is not really a worry, right? Golden Guardians should have their items or already be out of the game before Soul decides it. Like, it's not going to be a big factor, I don't think. So, for them, just keep chilling, keep farming, pay respect to Prince. That is the really scary part on the map right now. That is all of the advantage, really, for FlyQuest, right? He's about 1K up, already has a call field plus his completed mythic, so you got to pay respect to Prince. But I think if you can do plays like this, where you can just play away from Prince and pressure other areas of the map, you're pretty happy to take scraps. Like, you're looking good.
Stay away from the enemy's power point.
Yeah.
It is a pretty tried and true method for success in a game of League of Legends where one person in particular is the thorn in your side, but it will be up to FlyQuest to rotate Prince around and find the best way to leverage this pressure that he has with the lead he's currently built. You can see Winsome and Prince going up here into the top side now to respond to the lane swap committed from Golden Guardians. They wanted to go up top, get that last plate if they could before it fell. Impact is defending, but now he's teleported bottom. Licorice doing the same, so those two are going to be pretty synced up there, matching one another in bot lane.
Exactly. I mean, FlyQuest doesn't want to let Stixxay out of this 2v2, right? Because Stixxay was doing fine, but now it's a completed item, and there's no completed item on the other side. He went for tier 2 boots early, so Prince is at a really strong point. He's going to try to chunk down Huhi and set up for a dive. Can Spica go?
Oh, nicely done from Prince there, going in and immediately sidestepping himself. as that's going to be FlyQuest picking up 2. But the response from Golden Guardian sneaks something nice! The soldier gets him over the wall, and Gory gets the kill. Now Spica's going to try to get away, but it's a double kill back to the Emperor, and Golden Guardians will not be caught sleeping.
That is massive for Golden Guardians here. Yes, they're able to pull off the dive on the side of FlyQuest, get some kills, but it is Gory coming in, cleaning up both those kills, and congratulations to Huhi. 3,000 LCS assists all time.
Holy
from
cow.
mid lane to support. This guy has been a legend in the league forever. Quite the accomplishment.
Yeah, to be going for long enough to have a number that high. 3,000 here in the LCS. Congrats to Huhi, 3 of them here in this game. So 0.1% of all those have occurred right in front of our eyes here today. Mr. Azael, let's take another look at how this play went down in
Yeah,
top.
we can watch this one more time. If you look at the Azir on the minimap right now, he's basing. That's because he has mythic gold. So yes, the TP is a little bit late from him, but when he does arrive, he comes in and he is locked and loaded, ready to go. A great wall stun there from River, catches the Nami as he's trying to actually get out. He goes down, and then the sweep from Gory, catching Prince right over the wall. That last soldier on that right side scoops him up, kills him. And he already had the Ludens done. He buys a large rod straight up off of that. Already has the Sork boots. This Azir is going to be a problem. It's really difficult to play into some of these champions. You know, as a champion like Lucian, who has all the gold lead here for FlyQuest, you are that kind of mid-range style of carry. And that means the soldiers are going to heavily outrange you. Q auto, and you're going to be chunked out, right? You know, that's all it's really going to take here from Gory.
Ooh, nice steal on the Herald there from Spica. Golden Guardians had started it up, but now there's not a whole lot they can do with FlyQuest getting it. Spica, nice patience there on the clone with Wukong to make sure he doesn't get interrupted. Remember, the clone does dash him slightly forward, so that would be able to interrupt the dash over the wall if he got stuck in the steadfast presence. He has the patience, he gets back out. 9 seconds till our next Drake. It was FlyQuest who took the first.
Yeah, I think this one should be FlyQuest, but we will see. Again, Gory is incredibly strong. There is no flash on Prince, so maybe they can take advantage of that. But Mandate is done, which is another big power spike for Lucian, because once you get that Nami with the Mandate, your burst is really, really ramping up. You know, we have Winsome here. He already has 3 points in the E. So all of the additional damage, all of the additional slow that's coming through from that plus the Mandate procs is really, really deadly. That culling becomes such a threat. And I love the timing of this Herald. Drop this down mid, get a little bit of damage down here, get that charge in, and it should be lights out for that turret. They do secure it, and they're going to use that to get the river control here to start up this dragon.
You can see the blue trinket in the bottom side ward does see Spica, so they'll know that that's going on. But meanwhile, it's River just saying, okay, let's make a play top instead. We can't contest this Drake. That's not something that we're willing to commit to. And I love the fact that they immediately have other things in mind, right?
Yep.
It's fine to not contest an objective, but I don't just want to see you sit on your hands while they take it. I want to see some sort of an attempt somewhere else. You can see River making his way up top now. Vicla still trying to defend underneath the turret. The control ward is going to get cleared out. River and Huhi both working their way up here, but Vicla has managed to clear the wave in time. Victor does have his own mythic fully completed, so with that, with the laser beam, it's very easy to clear out these waves very quickly now.
Yep, gonna be able to clear that out. Had to do it very, very fast because don't want to get dove, but it is River coming back up here again, and this does get a little bit dicey. You know, if they can get that stun on the wall, we can see Poppy on the minimap, you know, hanging around that tri-brush. Nice blue trinket, actually spots him out, so he's aware of it. Got to position well, and we got to see FlyQuest responding here. They're sending members up. You can look at the minimap. They're trying to move up. They're trying to TP to answer.
Okay, they see the teleport, and Golden Guardians immediately decide against risking the dive. They do not want to be caught, but Prince is going to try to catch him anyway. Forces the flash out of the Golden Guardian support as Huhi runs away. Stixxay shortly behind him. Prince just dumps the magazine with culling, chunks him away.
It's a great disengage from Golden Guardians, but because they went down into the river instead of just straight down the lane, Prince's angle through that river actually gets quite a lot, right? It is those 2 flashes forced. But it may be a full tower going down on the bot side. It looks like Licorice should be able to finish it off on the Ksante. You know, does have the Sheen procs there, you know, working away on that turret, will knock it down. So overall, I think still a good play here from Golden Guardians. You threaten the tower dive, you get the TP response. That means no one can actually answer Ksante on the bot side. Then you just have to fully bail out, make sure you survive.
Honestly, I've been really impressed with Golden Guardians so far, responding to FlyQuest, especially for Gory here in his first game. And as soon as I say it, it's FlyQuest making it painfully obvious that the caster curse is real. They collapse on Gory and tear him apart.
Gwen is immune, trying to shuffle him away there, but had the edge of the shroud. And Gory was not in it. Impact gets a shutdown as well. That is really, really big because he completed the Riftmaker. He already has the Blighting Jewel as well. So going to be working towards, a lot of side lane pressure here. It's a lot of MR that has already been picked up from Licorice. So the fact that he's going towards this early Void Staff feels like he's building for that 1v1, looking to have that kill threat onto Ksante. And we'll see if he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah, the Ksante already having the Iceborne Gauntlet completed, the Mercury Treads, Negatron Cloak in inventory, probably going to be building towards Force of Nature, any of those other big tank magic resist items. You got to have the Void Staff to trade effectively into it, as Vicla has Spica and Winsome. Again, these two have been doing so much shadowing of their mid laner. They know the Golden Guardians wants to try to apply pressure to this Viktor, knowing that he's not an incredibly effective champion in the early and even early mid stages of the game. But it's FlyQuest really just putting an extra security detail on him to make sure that he's able to farm up.
And it's really smart, right from the word go when you're playing in Viktor versus Azir, you're at risk. Anytime the Azir has ulti, it can be your flash or your life, right? And that kind of trend continues when you're playing in the side lane with no turret to actually defend you. You need to have people behind you covering you on these aggressive plays because the Ksante could actually run you down with that ghost, could chase you down in the long lane. You don't really have a good ability to actually escape and just have to kind of sit and fire on this champion. But Navori quick played second here from Prince. I mentioned that is a build I'm seeing popularized, and we'll see how well he's going to be able to pilot it because you talked about it. The reduced cooldown on those basic abilities means you are shuffling, you are dashing, you're doing everything so much faster. And to actually utilize this item effectively, you have to have really good mechanics.
You need to be playing some old school StarCraft APM to take full build Navori Quick Blades Lucian and unleash him to his full potential. But like I said, if anybody can do it in this league, I believe that Prince is the man who can. So you'll see FlyQuest continue trying to contest the vision inside the Golden Guardians topside jungle. FlyQuest has built their lead up to about 2,000 right now. That's pretty much as big as the lead has been either way this entire game. Licorice versus Impact in bottom lane. Licorice does have his Force of Nature completed. Void Staff completed for Impact there, so 2-item power spikes for both of these guys. The fight is going to go for quite a while, I would think. As you can see, Licorice go all out. He knows that Impact can just drain tank him through the damage of his tank form, so he's got to deploy the damage here. Sidesteps away from most of the 5-shot needle, and now he's continuing to try to fight him here with a Q3. Goes for the knockback. A little bit more damage might get it done, but Impact out plays Licorice.
Man, you gotta be so careful going up against the Gwen. Every top laner has nightmares about these kind of plays, where Gwen gets the Riftmaker stacked up, gets the Conqueror stacked up, gets that final Q, and so much healing comes through, so much damage comes through with that final true damage snip. That Licorice just gets chopped up. It looked like it was in his favor until that final moment, but Impact gets that kill, and that is a big one, as he's going to continue to maintain pressure in that side lane now.
You have a man that's been playing League of Legends as long as Impact, who's got his, what was the way that he described it, his McDonald's World Championship Jack skin. He has been playing this game so long. He knows so many of the matchups, so many of the thresholds, so many of those close fights. It's always impressive to see, but River is, man, he is struggling here against the damage that Prince can output. They force the flash of the Golden Guardians jungler, as well as taking him nearly to death, meaning he has to go a full retreat.
Yep. Spica used his ultimate there to actually try to interrupt the ulti from River, but he was just out of range, so it didn't actually stop the Poppycopter, and he got rejected away, ends up kind of using his ultimate for nothing there. Maybe if he could have actually gotten that interruption, they would have been able to get the kill. Either way, River no flash, sent back to base, means FlyQuest get another dragon here, so now is that third dragon for themselves, and they've opened up a 2.5k gold lead. So I would say, they are extending enough of an advantage with this composition that they are really a threat here, but it's Impact now potentially caught out.
Impact getting swooped back into the rest of Golden Guardians. He will drop the shutdown over to Gory.
Did they go
I
Baron?
think that's exactly where they would want the money for Golden Guardians.
Baron.
They're going to threaten Baron. They know they got to try to push this forward, catch back up to FlyQuest. Taking out the enemy top lane is a good way to do it, but now the pressure is on. Prince has a few seconds left on that culling cooldown. River goes in with a steadfast presence, looking to grab somebody, but he's about to die. Wild growth to keep him alive. Golden Guardians, I could see what they wanted there, but they could not get the angle, and FlyQuest forces them back.
Yeah, really good attempt. I wonder, had they waited another second or two longer before they peeled and Licorice arrives, could they have found a better engage and really kind of slam that home? Because now, FlyQuest are just going to do a counter Baron here. Impact has TP and he's up in 10. They're saying, oh, you're low, you want a base? No, you don't get to. River, you're at no HP.
This is so risky for Golden Guardians. FlyQuest takes this here. The game's going to feel really rotten to keep playing. Impact's coming in with TP. Licorice separated from the rest of the team, has to get away. Culling fired off. Most of the bullets don't connect, so Licorice still has a decent health pool to work with here. And so Golden Guardians do what FlyQuest just did to them. They push back enough to force them off the objective.
Yeah, nicely done. I think both teams actually handling the push and pull of that situation quite well. And that is a really stressful situation. If you mishandle that, you die, they get Baron, lights out. Really, for either team, it can just kind of explode that advantage so heavily here. But it is now FlyQuest, I think, really in the driver's seat. They're the ones who are in this power position because in 330, they could hit Soul, and it's going to be up to Golden Guardians to try to prevent that. We'll see if they can.
Ooh, nicely done there with a steadfast presence. River's reaction time able to stop the Wukong dash from doing a little bit more damage to him. And so they're going to clear that ward, walk on back. Man, it's all about Baron right now, right? FlyQuest, they've got Soul Point for themselves. That's going to be a problem here in about 3 minutes for Golden Guardians. But for those next 3 minutes, this Baron contest, this topside River is the name of the game for everybody.
It absolutely is. And look what Licorice is doing. He's pushing bot because guess what? He has TP. His TP is up. You look at the other side. Impact does not have his TP, so there's no easy way to answer. By going bot lane, shoving that up, you force a response from someone who has no teleport. And now it's Golden Guardians who should be able to move in and try to take away some vision around this Baron. Because the idea is, as long as Licorice backs it up, he can always join and create a 5v4, right? So it's now FlyQuest who have to be careful, looking for the culling to try to chunk down Gory there, but Gory just shifts away from it. Gonna stay safe very easily.
Jumps in and right back out, but now Spica has found his way towards Licorice. Gonna try to trade with him here a little bit. Knows the Ksante is pretty much only magic resist. Licorice trying to deal with this guy, but he's got to be careful here. Needs the blast cone to try to get away, and he gets it. Licorice puts the distance between himself and his opponents that he needed to find, but Impact can easily just skip right back over the wall. He's gonna disengage just fine too.
I like that though. You know, the read here, you see the call from Impact. He's saying, all right, he's coming up river, so Spica comes down. They meet up, they try to pressure him. Yes, they don't really get that much out. It's just that ulti, but it's those little attempts that are gonna make those rotations more risky, more difficult. Sometimes force the team to take that slower, safer path that could have them getting to a fight a little bit too late. So always nice to see. Black Cleaver also completed up here, which I think is a really good buy for Spica. Exactly, and being able to cut away some of that armor as well for Prince, who is kind of your big damage dealer right now.
And you can see Prince just now completing his third item in the Lord Dominic's regard, so even more armor penetration.
Yeah.
That's one of the other things about this Lucian. You pretty much have to go through the guys in front of you because it's not like you're going to get the chance to just shoot Zeri all the time. You have to bust through the Poppy tank line. You have to bust through Ksante. And so making sure that those culling shots can't just be ignored by these meatballs is very important.
And it's a lot of pressure on him because he's got to find really good angles for the culling. Culling is such an important piece of their team fight, but if you just let it rip, Ksante is going to stand in front of you, pop the W for the damage reduction, and just absorb that with a Lulu shield, then they're going to laugh at you, right? You have to be able to find a good angle where you can threaten the carries, chunk down a carry, push them out of the fight, or that culling's just not going to be valuable. So that's up to his team, and it's up to him to create space and find those windows.
Well, we've got 45 seconds until the Drake that would be Chemtech Soul for FlyQuest spawns. Golden Guardians understand you cannot just give these away any longer. The time has come. You're going to have to fight. It's still a 2,000 gold lead for FlyQuest, but it was a 2,000 gold lead pretty much 10 minutes ago as well. So Golden Guardians have stopped that from ballooning into anything else, but now they've got to find a way to actually take control over the Drake or pull off a miracle steal. Spica's in a position to potentially wrap around here, but Golden Guardians disengage off to the right towards the Drake and towards the river, so Spica cannot find the collapse just yet.
Yeah, and I think he was spotted. There was some pings around the Raptor brush there, you know, trying to track where Spica could potentially be. They're going to TP back in, though, and they definitely want to fight for this. They absolutely have to. Gory is on the side, does have his third item completed as well, so he is on pace with Prince on this Azir. Monster scaler here is fully ready to go. If this is a smite fight, it's going to be massive as it's Impact now pushing up mid, trying to draw some pressure away from this Dragon Pit.
But it's Golden Guardians starting up the objective. A line of soldiers. Gory's trying to keep those positioned to keep FlyQuest away. Spica is wrapped around the back of the pit right now, ready to take the blast cone to join in and go for a smite steal. The Soul can give so much power to these guys if they can steal it away and then force a team fight right after. Golden Guardians staying on top of it. There they go. There's your ejection. They knock the enemy AD carry away, and now they're ready to try to fight. Impact using the mist to defend against the shuffle. Golden Guardians, they get the Drake. That's all they needed to get, and now they disengage cleanly.
That's huge, but FlyQuest, they're picking on Baron. They're saying, no, we need to fight. We need to force. We need to get something done. We can't just allow ourselves to be kind of slowly pushed out of this game here. with the scaling that Golden Guardians do have, FlyQuest couldn't find a way in. It's a great ulti from River. It's a good smite as well. They're able to actually secure that for themselves, but FlyQuest is wise to it, and Golden Guardians are aware that there could be that potential of the Baron, so instead they're just going to push mid and force a response. Both teams, I feel like, are handling the back and forth in this game really, really well.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to watch, but now let's see what Prince can get here with the culling. Oh my goodness, man. Huhi, you saw only the last few bullets hitting him, but his health bar just evaporating, as will the health of that mid lane tier 1 turret of FlyQuest. Golden Guardians finally getting their second turret of the game.
Yeah, I was going to say the culling's doing nothing because it was on that sped up Poppy, and then a couple bullets there tagging Huhi, and he is down very low. He had to base, so they say, all right, start it up again. We got to draw them in. We got to fight. We can't let this game get slow, and they're just trying to finish it. They're going to burst it down.
I think they're just going to get it. River can't get there in time. It's secured by FlyQuest. They lose the tier 1 turret. They take the Baron. That's a good trade in anybody's eyes. They got purple on all 5 players.
Yeah, really decisive stuff there from FlyQuest. Just refusing to allow the pace of the game to slow. Golden Guardians wants to get out to side lanes, wants to continue this kind of push farm, slow down the game style, get Stixxay to an IE, get their members to these big items, but FlyQuest is refusing to allow them. Anytime they force any sort of small advantage, they're saying, all right, we're just going to keep fighting. We're just going to force you to come to us. Oh, you want to base after the dragon? No, we're going to start Baron. Oh, you want to base after the Baron? Well, we're going to be pushing your turrets. We're going to be forcing into your jungle, taking away camps, making you respond to us here. And we'll see if they're going to be able to really push the pace with this Baron, because this feels like such a key moment in the game. During this next 2 minutes, can they knock down enough turrets to really balloon this gold lead to where they're going to feel comfortable against the items that are starting to come in on the other side? We see 3 items for Gory already. Now the IE is done for Stixxay.
Well, not just the gold lead. I'm also looking at the map control. You can see they just took their first tier 2 turret in mid. You can see that the tier 2 turret in bottom and top, those are still standing. And now, River going after Spica, just going to scare him away here from this red buff. When this Baron expires, it'll be about 45 seconds until the Drake spawns again. So if FlyQuest can command total control of the Rift, by the time that Baron is gone, they'll have a great setup for the Drake Soul as well.
They absolutely will, and they have these 3 pushing waves that were synced up quite well. You know, Prince and Winsome were pushing through mid, Impact's pushing through top. As the wave crashes top for the tier 2, they move over, they get that. Spica comes down and pushes through bot lane, has to back it up as there was 3 members from his team that show top. So him and Vicla now responding appropriately to that push and pull. Winsome is base probably to refill his wards and also buy up that chem check putrefier. And now Prince is going to go back to base. So he's got his 4th item here. They're staying, you know, kind of that 1 item ahead in the AD position. Has that rapid fire that you talked about. You know, people really prioritizing getting that dash in, getting the Q auto, getting that first little burst of damage on these carries to really threaten.
Licorice getting jumped on here by Impact, who's not afraid to commit the ulti and keep chasing him down with that tier 2 turret gone. Licorice wants to go all out, but I don't think it's going to win you the fight against the Gwen. He jumps back in, and Impact is just completely unafraid of this, but he does not want to commit any further. He knows that there's a lot of players missing on the map for the Golden Guardians. He does not want to get baited into a bad fight, so he'll step away as the pressure continues. 30 seconds left in the Baron, plus 2,500 gold right now for FlyQuest from taking that. Should get it up to about 3K here if they can finish off the last little bit of this tier 2. Prince jumps in to guarantee it. There you go, plus 3,300 on the Baron for FlyQuest.
Yeah, and one of the scary things about this matchup when you're playing Ksante into Gwen is the amount of burst that Gwen has. You know, when you go all out as Ksante, you're putting yourself very low, and that's a tank, by the way.
Wow.
You know, kind of crushing through him. Is low on armor, obviously, as he did go for the Spear of Visage second, but you know, as you go into all out, you get quite low, and the 3rd cast of the ulti, the 2nd cast does more, the 3rd cast does an incredible amount of burst here on the Gwen, so it can be very easy at times where you go into that ult, you try to scrap, and then all of a sudden you're getting chunked down, and now,
the exhaust, critical there from Stixxay to try to keep Huhi alive, but the needlework just sews him up a nice funeral suit. It's Impact taking him down, and Golden Guardians now have to deal with a 4v5 with 15 seconds left before the Drake spawns.
Yeah, you can just see how much pressure Prince is putting on them. The previous culling gets River really low, forces him back. Now he uses the Ignite, uses the Gale Force, finds Huhi, gets him down low enough that Impact can just finish him off there. And Prince is just relentless, trying to keep this pressure on. He's 1-1-2, which isn't an incredible scoreline, but it's the pressure he's putting on. It's the space he's creating for his team that makes him feel so much more impactful than that. I think he's just earned them the Dragon Soul for free. They're just not even gonna try to contest.
And this is literally what you said as the conditional for being able to play these short to mid-range AD carries in late game team fights. Your angles gotta be correct. You always have to find those moments where you do have a DPS window that opens up, and Prince has been finding them time and again.
Yep. And with this Chemtech Soul, you know, below 50%, you gain damage resistance, you get your increased damage as well. I think that in particular is so insane on Gwen. Like, this matchup becomes so unbelievably unplayable because Gwen is getting low, but she's taking less and less damage. Her healing is amped up as well by the increased damage, and she's going to execute you with that Q, with that R. So it's really, really difficult to deal with some of these drain tank, high DPS style champions, like Gwen in particular.
She's already a champion that loves to bait you into a fight that you think you're winning, and now it's just never going to happen. So very, very scary stuff for FlyQuest, who find themselves continuing to scale, but also continuing to struggle to deal with, or for Golden Guardians, who are struggling to deal with what FlyQuest is bringing to the table. Again, River, nice use of the steadfast presence, always ready to block some of these dodges, these attempts from Spica.
Yeah.
Stixxay with his Infinity Edge completed. You can see the stopwatch and VF Sword in the inventory building towards the Guardian Angel. Still has the active there for the stasis, the stopwatch not broken yet. He's gonna need to have a monster performance in one of these team fights, I think, or the curtain is starting to close for the Golden Guardians.
I mean, Stixxay has been having a very quiet game. Oh, gets stunned up!
Steadfast presence on Prince. Nice timing there, but it's not enough to actually bring him down. Not even enough to force his flash. Prince keeping his cool and getting back to the safety of his team.
But they do get the stopwatch off Gory, and that's a big one. He's just gonna have to sell that up, buy some pink wards. He's not even close to having gold 4 Zonias, so nicely done there from Prince. As you said, stays calm. Winsome dropping the tidal wave there to keep him safe. And they know it's gonna be harder to actually burst him down with that Chemtech Soul because of the damage resistance that you get when you get lower. So again, FlyQuest just continuing to push the pace here, trying to stay aggressive. Yeah, it's been a very, very quiet game for Stixxay, but it sometimes only takes one good team fight on that Zeri.
I mean, that's what Zeri is, right?
Yeah.
You go from doing nothing to getting a pentakill, and then the game ends.
Yeah, this champion is a pentakill machine. You know, her whole kit is built around getting you those big plays, and this would be the time to try to go for it. It's Prince and Spica doing up the Baron. It is spotted by that blue orb. They can't give this up with the soul already taken. But are they too late? I think so.
I don't think they have a whole lot of choice left in it, Isaac. You're going to see River miss the Poppycopter, and now we got a problem as Gory's already dead with the culling over the wall, and Spica finishes it off. You're going to see Stixxay grab one back onto Impact, but the man's going to need to do a whole lot more. FlyQuest grab their second with River being taken out. Stixxay has to flash away. He fires back, but Prince fires forward. A double kill of an Lucian. Licorice will stand his ground, but how long can he do it? He's all out, but Spica's just keeping him distracted. Remember, he's built for MR. Stone Plate active, keeping him alive a little bit longer. Black Cleaver's about to cut him to pieces, though. Spica just continuing the chase, going after this top laner of the Golden Guardians, while the rest of FlyQuest is in the base. It's a little Lulu versus all of FlyQuest, and Prince wants to pad his stats, puts a bullet right in his back, and he's on a killing spree. That will do it. It was a valiant game from the Golden Guardians. They put up a fight, but FlyQuest is just built different. They'll take the win 38 minutes in.
FlyQuest continues their rampage through the LCS, and I think the hype is building for a potential FlyQuest versus Cloud9 matchup. Both these teams coming out here in week 2 and showcasing the power of some of these early game compositions, the power that you can utilize to really snowball the game if you're doing it very, very effectively.
Yeah.
And it's a nice change from last week where we saw all these people going for more of the early game stuff, just getting outscaled. You know, being able to close out these games is such an important thing here because we know that FlyQuest and Cloud9 can go late, they can play that style, but being able to have this in your toolkit makes it so much more difficult to play against and draft against.
And I think it's also very important for the league as a whole, for the best teams. Like I was joking about it at the end of the last game, but I meant it. When the best teams play fast and force you to be able to play fast, it means that the whole league then has to also be able to keep up with that. You can't just play a comp that works 45 minutes if you're gonna lose at 25 minutes, and that's so fun to watch. It forces everybody to step their game.
It really does, and this is